Hey guys, welcome back to Carsonian Beans. Today we are going to be talking about the Washington versus Browns game that's going to be on this Sunday. And I know you might be confused why am I talking about this game. It's because I'm a Washington fan, and every now and then I just want to talk about Washington. So on Sundays, I started last week posting a video where I just rant about the game, and now this week I'm just going to prepare you guys for the game. And this video, while I am talking about Washington, I am going to try to be as unbiased as possible. If Washington's obviously going to lose a game, I am going to say they're going to lose a game. But if they're going to win a game, I'm going to say that I think they're going to win a game. I'm not like in my Sunday reactions, I'm always going to be insanely biased, and that is probably the most those are probably going to be some of the most biased videos you'll ever see. So some of the people who call my other videos biased are going to be kind of shocked by the stuff that goes on in those. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. This is actually going to be, in my opinion, a really good game. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen at the end, and I have score predictions coming out tomorrow. So if you want to see the actual score predictions, you can see that tomorrow. But Cleveland is opening as not opening, but as of right now, they are 7-point favorites, which I think is really, really high. I really think that yes, Cleveland should, with the way that they normally do these things, I think that Cleveland should be favored, but I don't think they should be favored by 7 points. I think it should maybe be like 3 to 5 points. I think that it will be a much closer game than 7 points, but who knows? We'll see. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go over each position. I'm going to tell which team I think has the advantage of that position. We're going to go through passing, rushing, receiving, front seven, and secondary, and I'm going to tell you which team I think has the, best, which team is better at that. So in passing, you have Dwayne Haskins and Baker Mayfield. Dwayne Haskins does have a better quarterback rating, but when you look, Baker Mayfield has completed more passes, for more touchdowns. Well, yeah, he's completed more passes on less attempts for more touchdowns than Dwayne, although Dwayne Haskins has 0 interceptions and Baker Mayfield has 2. But just looking at, Baker Mayfield, I think that they're pretty close, but I think Baker Mayfield just has a little edge. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he does have a lot of help with his wide receivers and his running game, and I do think that Baker Mayfield is going to be the better passer in this game. So 1 point for Cleveland. If I was a fancier YouTuber, I would have some kind of graphic showing the points, and maybe eventually, if I get more subs and a lot of stuff happens, maybe in a few years that'll be it. That would be amazing though, if I actually was kind of like a real YouTuber. And rushing, which is, if you don't know, that's running backs. We have Antonio Gibson, who's only had 22 carries this season. They're really not rushing that often, and when they are, they're spreading the ball. Like Peyton Barber got 2 touchdowns there in the first game, and then against Eagles, and then in their second game against Arizona, it was all about J.D. McKissick. But Antonio Gibson did manage to get a touchdown in the last game. He only has 91 yards though, and only 4.1 yards on average. Meanwhile, the Browns are heavily run-based. They are a heavily run-based team. So Nick Chubb, who is their main rusher, already has 184 yards, more than double Antonio Gibson, and has 2 touchdowns. And Alvin Kamara is also doing Kareem Hunt is also doing really, really well in their running game. I'm sorry. I just talked about the Raiders-Saints game last day, and it's still kind of stuck in my head. So, in my opinion, I feel like the Browns do have the better rushing game, mainly because they have, they do have, a lot. They mainly rush, and it's for a good reason. And then their receiving unit, I think, honestly, Terry McLaurin, I think that he is the best wide receiver that's going to be out in the field on Sunday. He has a touchdown and 186 yards and 12 catches already. He is a very good weapon for Dwayne Haskins. And I think that, if he can take a hold of that, then I think that Washington can get ahead. So right now, Washington has 1 point and the Cleveland Browns have 2 points. Now, a team could get all the points, and I still think they're going to lose. This is just, something fun to do. And then their front seven, obviously, don't even have to talk about it. Washington's going to win. They probably have the best front seven. I'm trying to be unbiased. Maybe not their linebackers, but the defensive line is definitely top 3, if not the best. You have so many different amazing players on that front seven. It is insane. And and their secondary, I'm not really sure about this. I might actually have to give it just to Washington. I know that their The secondary didn't play very well last week, but I'm just going to assume that Kendall Fuller is going to be in this game, and Troy Apke won't have to be in this game. Troy Apke would play terribly last week, and if he's not in this game and Kendall Fuller is in there, then I do think that Washington has the better secondary, and that's that. Washington has 3 points, Cleveland has 2. But again, now I'm going to go ahead and start talking about like what I think is going to happen. I think that despite the fact that they have played a pretty bad team in the Eagles and a really, really good team in the Cardinals. The last Thursday night game, the Browns allowed the Cincinnati to get 30 points on them. And I know that Joe Burrow, he looked great. Their defense, though, looked terrible underneath Joe Burrow in that offense. And I'm not sure if their offense is any better than Dwayne Haskins. So I'm going to have to say that I think that the Cleveland defense is the worst defense that Washington has faced so far, and I think that definitely goes in Washington's favor. As we've seen, they always play better in the late games, and if they can somehow make this happen in the first half, because what they always seem to do is they always get way behind in the first half, and even in the last week 2 game, whenever they lost by 15 points, they scored 12 points in the fourth quarter, and they started popping off, and they were scoring all like crazy. The reason that really they didn't score anymore is because Ron Rivera didn't want any of his players to get hurt, so he didn't take any timeouts at all in the second half. And then you look at the Washington defense against the Cleveland offense. You have an insanely good front 7, which is really good for run defense, and it's hard to run against this team. And the Browns, what is their main thing? Rushing. And so they're going to be putting pressure on the quarterback. They're going to be stopping the rush, forcing Baker Mayfield to make some throws I don't think he can make. Throwing into that, if Kendall Fuller's in there, that pretty good secondary. And I think that Washington should get a couple of I think Washington could get a couple of turnovers either from interceptions or fumbles. I think this is a really, really good matchup in Washington's favor. I think they're kind of along the same area in like power rankings, but I do think Washington going head-to-head, it has a very good chance of winning. And that is why hopefully I come out as unbiased opinion, I think that Washington will get the win. I think maybe it'll be a 4 to 5 point win. I don't think it'll be here's the deal. I think that the only 3 possible outcomes are 1, the most possible outcome I think is that Washington barely wins by 5, 4 points. At the most, I think they might win by 10. That is the highest. And then the least likely, I think, is that Cleveland wins by a lot. That is just so out there. I don't think it could happen. But, of course, it probably will. So, that's that. I think that, if Dwayne Haskins finds a way to play badly in this game, I think that they're going to be really looking at Kyle Allen and even Alex Smith. So, yeah, this is what I think. I think that Washington's going to come out with a pretty slight win. 2-1, they will definitely, if they win this next game, they will still be on top of the NFC East. And then in week 4, they have to play against the Ravens, which is basically like a much better form of the Cardinals, who completely destroyed them. So, as a Washington fan, I'm not looking forward to that, but I mean, anything could happen. So, yeah, that is that. Thank you so much for watching this video. We do this kind of stuff every week. We're posting every single day throughout the season, power rankings, predictions, weekly recaps, all kinds of stuff coming out every single day. And also in my description, you'll be able to find my link to my Twitter and Instagram. I'd really be happy if you followed those. I'm going to start posting more on my Twitter, like when games are happening. I might post about what's happening on those games, just to give you something else to look at. I don't know. Please go ahead and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. I better, or else.